Are you somebody who sees yourself as lazy and unmotivated and that you can't give yourself a kick up the butt when it comes to doing exercise? Well, today I want to teach you an amazing way to think about motivation. I call it motivation stacking, and it really helps you get to a place where you actually want to be doing the thing that you know you're not doing. So I've got this beginner 5K running program, and I deal with a lot of people who self-identify as lazy and unmotivated in their lives before they join our program. And this is a really interesting problem when we think about health and fitness, particularly fitness in general, because most people would agree that if I bring exercise into my life's going to be in a better place. But if you're lazy and unmotivated, it's never happening. And when most people think about bringing exercise into their life, the thing they focus on is the programming. So they tend to try to find a program that's going to give them the answers to where they want to get to. And while a great program is really important, I actually think the first thing you should focus on is motivation. Because I could give you the most amazing fitness workout program in the world that would guarantee results if you did it. But if you're not motivated to do the work, you're never going to do it. And this is why I think the first focus you should think about when you're trying to bring exercise into your life is the motivation piece. Sure, you need a great program, but the motivation piece is actually more important in the first phase. And so the first mistake most people make is that they only try to find a program. Secondly, when they think about motivation, they don't put enough time and effort into creating the best motivation possible. Like, we're not just trying to give you one motivational tool, we're trying to stack all the motivational tools in place. Like, again, we're trying to get you to the place where you're fired up to do exercise in your life. The thing I always like to think about is we're trying to get you to the place where you turn up no matter what the conditions are and you absolutely want to be in that place. And this is where this concept of motivational stacking comes in place. So the first thing to acknowledge when we think about motivational stacking is you need to devote some time to think about what motivational tools am I going to put in place when I'm trying to bring exercise into my life. And not just one motivational tools, we're trying to put a few motivational tools in place. Because again, when most people think about motivation, they maybe put one tool in, if they're, or they're kind of just hoping the program will give them motivation. So when we think about motivational stacking, what are we looking at doing? Well, first of all, we're trying to identify the different areas that we can use for motivation. So I've written down a few here right now. So the first is the mind strategies that you will use around motivation. So to spend some time writing down the mindsets that you're going to practice when you're moving towards exercise, or the perspectives that you're going to be practicing while you're doing exercise. If you can consciously inject perspectives that help you around motivation, that's going to help you move in a better place. Now, perspectives and mindsets are one way of doing this, but also other mind strategies that will help you with motivation is really important. The next one I got on my list here is planning. Planning is so important when we think about motivation. And a really good example of that is people who plan exercise in their life when they know they'll be fatigued. So for example, if you're not exercising in your life, and then you plan to put an exercise session at the end of your week on a Friday afternoon when you know you're going to be tired, that's bad planning motivation. Whereas if you were to look at your week and go, you know what, on a Monday afternoon, I've got a few hours off and I know I'm pretty fresh at that time, that's good planning, which helps you with your motivation. The next type of motivation is what I call social motivation. And this is absolutely huge when it comes to exercise. People who find a community and others to do exercise with are always more motivated than those who do it by themselves. So when we're thinking trying to stack motivation, we're actually trying to think about where can I socially get exercise in my life. There's a few ways we can look at this. Look for communities that help people like you, or look for your friends and family who already have a routine around other people that you can move towards. When you find social around exercise, the motivation is almost always there. The next type is what I call leadership or mentoring motivation. This is where you're going to invest some of your time and your money to actually get someone to hold your hand through the process. It could be a personal trainer, could be a coach, could be a group-led coach. You're looking for someone who's actually their job is to motivate you. And when you're looking for this person, you're looking for an amazing motivator. They can take you to a place you can't get to by yourself. When you have a great leadership motivator beside you, seriously, they'll get you to places that you never thought possible in your life. And the last one I've identified here is your support motivation. Let's say you're in a relationship and you're trying to create change in your life. On that day when you're thinking about not turning up, if you've talked to your partner and you said, look, some days I'm going to be unmotivated, can you support me? And in that day, here's what I need you to do to support me in that day, then there's a higher chance you'll be supported along the way. Now, these are a few examples. What I write down, I got down mind motivation, planning motivation, social motivation, leadership motivation, and support motivation. Now, if we're trying to make you as motivated as possible on an exercise journey, if we stacked all of those things in place before you even started, do you think you'd be more motivated? Do you think there's a higher chance that you can get to that place where you do not want to mix your exercise sessions? Now, if you're someone who's watching this and you identified at the start that you're lazy and unmotivated, the first challenge I have for you is to put the time aside to do the work around this. Like, for example, if you were to sit down for 30 minutes to an hour and just go, what are all the different options I have around motivation in these different areas? By the end of that time, you'd have a plan in place. Then you want to put that plan in place and start your exercise journey. Motivation is so important for a fitness journey, not just at the start, but for long-term fitness, you need great motivational tools in place. The first mistake people make is they don't even think about motivation, or they don't put enough attention into their motivation. If you want to achieve massive change in your life, think about the motivation stacking strategy, looking at all the different areas where you could put motivation in place so you can get to a place which is absolutely you being the fired up version of yourself and achieving phenomenal things in your life.